On Monday, January 2nd, 2023, the Cincinnati Bengals played host to the Buffalo Bills in Week 17 of the 2022-23 season. As the day began, this game was touted to be the game of the season. It was the top three teams in their respective conference, as they were both fighting for playoff spots and respective seeding in said playoffs. When the game started, like I said, the entire nation was watching, as this was a 12-3 Bills team who have never won a Super Bowl, but over the last few years have been one of the best teams in the league, and they've just always fallen just a little bit short. Whereas the Cincinnati Bengals, who were 11-4, went to the Super Bowl last year. They ended up losing to the Los Angeles Rams, so they're looking to bounce back, make another title run. The game started, Cincinnati had the ball, they went down the field, scored a touchdown. And the Bills' first possession, they went down and they scored a field goal. So when Cincinnati got the ball for the second time, the score was 7-3. With 5 minutes and 58 seconds left in the first quarter, Joe Burrow throws a pass to T. Higgins, who then gets tackled by Damar Hamlin. Now this is about as routine of a tackle as you can think of. You've seen it literally every single time a play has happened in football. This is a wide receiver. He lowers his shoulder just to brace for impact of the defender who's wanting to tackle him. Damar Hamlin makes the tackle, and he gets right back up, and for about half a second, and then he just collapses. He falls straight backwards. He hits his head against the turf, and he's unconscious. Now, we have seen this before in football. It's unfortunately not necessarily super common, but we've seen it before. We've seen this kind of thing happen. The team doctors, the paramedics rush out on the field to see how he's doing, not knowing what his condition is at the time. When they get to him, they're trying to figure out what's wrong with him, but he's unresponsive. The doctors quickly, frantically try and figure out the situation, and within minutes, they realize that he has no pulse. Damar Hamlin is unconscious. He has no pulse. He's not breathing. So for about the next 10 minutes, I believe it was 9 minutes to be specific, the doctors, the doctors were performing CPR on Damar Hamlin. Both teams at this point are very freaked out what's going on. There's an ambulance come onto the field. There's an absolute team of doctors and paramedics surrounding Damar Hamlin. Players from both teams trying to create some sort of circle, some kind of barrier between them and the fans and the cameras, just to give Damar some sort of privacy in that moment. Fortunately, as it can get, Damar's mom was in the stands for that game. She decided to travel and come to the game. So as the ambulance was leaving the stadium, whoever security found her, brought her down to where the ambulance was leaving the stadium, and she was able to ride in the ambulance with Damar to the hospital, while Damar's father, who was also at the game, drove their personal car right behind them to the hospital. Now, I'm recording this on Thursday, January 5th. It is about 4:30. I was planning on recording this on the Wednesday, but I'm glad I put it off a day, because now we know a lot more information than we did on the Wednesday. We found out that between the field and the hospital in that first kind of few hours, Damar had lost his pulse twice, actually. Once while he was there on the field, and then actually as soon as the ambulance arrived to the hospital again, he had lost his pulse. He was essentially dead twice within the span of about an hour. Doctors and paramedics were able to revive him both times. They straight away put him on a ventilator, and just kind of kept him sedated, kept him unconscious that way. That gave him the best chance of surviving. They stuck him in a room that was very, very cold. I'm no doctor, but this is what I've heard from the doctors at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. They said that they put him into a room that was a lot colder than most rooms, because if a body is left unconscious and they're trying to heal, the cold, kind of just similar to if you have frozen meat in your freezer. It lasts longer. It's good for longer. Similar with human flesh, it can kind of, or the human body can kind of heal faster. There was a lot of damage to his lungs. Specifics I'm not aware of, but there was some kind of process where they had to remove fluid from his lungs. So yeah, the first kind of 12 hours, the entire sports world stopped. The announcers for the game had no idea really what to say, so they tried kicking it back to a studio with other people. They had no idea what to say, and who knows what to say, right? I mean, I played football in high school, and the worst thing that I'd seen was someone, unfortunately, they broke their leg during a play. But, I mean, even just watching on TV, I mean, no one had ever seen anything like that. So it was very, very shocking. I mean, even in the days following, the whole world, myself included, very, very, very shook by it all. The next morning, we find out that he is slowly improving, but there's there's not a lot of concrete evidence that supports that. It was just a lot of family and friends, saying like, we know this kid, he's a hard fighter. We know that he's going to pull through it. His uncle, I believe it was that second night, it would have been the Tuesday night on the 3rd, come out and said that he had no past medical history, anything to do with his heart. So again, it just kind of added another layer of like just being scared, like just not seeing anything like this. Wednesday was very much of the same thing. It was we are seeing very minimal, but we are seeing improvements. We're not exactly sure what this means, but we like what we're seeing as far as he's still with us and he's not regressing, which was very good. Come Thursday morning here on January 5th, reports were that at some point overnight between Wednesday and Thursday, Damar Hamlin had opened his eyes, and he was able to communicate writtenly. They still had a tube, a ventilator on him, so he wasn't able to speak, probably because, he's got a big tube in his throat. I mean, who else could speak at that point, right? He was able to, ask questions. He was able to, or he is able to move his hands, move his feet. So that's very, very exciting news. The doctors came out and said that neurologically, everything checks out as if almost nothing happened, which, as far as a miracle, that's probably as close as you can get to a miracle, considering he had no oxygen to his brain for about 10 minutes the first time he lost a pulse on that football field. Who knows how the grand total amount of time that was the case. One of the things that I love about all of the news coming out of him waking up is the first question he asked was, did we win the game? He had no idea of what had happened. He's just a fighter, man. First thing he asked was, well, hey, did my team win? The amount of support and prayers and thoughts from the whole world was unreal. I mean, you've got other NFL teams, you've got teams from other sports posting on their Twitters, team members from like the Buffalo Sabres. That next night they had a game. They all had shirts in Damar Hamlin's name. It was very cool. As far as the game goes, there's a lot of speculation on what's going to happen with the playoffs because, like I said, this was a very important game. The final week of the regular season is coming up this weekend, and everyone's going to have played 17 games except for both of these teams. So there's a lot of speculation as to what the NFL is going to do. But ultimately, the fact that Damar Hamlin is alive and that he's progressing very, very much is really all that matters. Damar Hamlin, he's from the Pittsburgh area. I believe he went to college at the University of Pitt. I believe it was either his freshman or sophomore year of college there at Pitt. He started a toy drive, kind of Christmassy toy drive back to school supply kind of thing on GoFundMe. When he started it, he put his goal as he wanted to raise $2,500. Last I had seen, ever since he, you know, essentially died on the field, that totals over $7 million now. So I myself, once I'm done recording this, I'm going to donate a little bit myself. I'm going to try and find the link that I can put in the description of the video here. There's no need to, but I do encourage you, if you can, to spread a little help, not just to spread some joy to his family, but also, help out kids and families in need, especially out there in the Pittsburgh area. So yeah, those are kind of a rundown of what had happened. Personally, like I said, I mean, playing football myself, I was texting with a couple of my friends that I played with in high school, and my goodness, it's a heartbreaking thing. Hope you never see it again. There's a lot of speculation as to exactly what had happened. The most common thing, I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's something you find fairly common in baseball players, where if they get a line drive hit in the chest, you see them, they collapse. This is obviously, if it were the same, this is a much more serious case of that. It could totally be something else. There's a lot of things on social media kind of up in the air about what it could be. Who knows, really? The most important thing is that he's alive and okay. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed me kind of breaking down this situation, please leave a like on the video. Come next week, I'm going to do a playoff preview predictions video. I was planning on doing something along the NFL for the games this weekend, but I thought that was not necessarily appropriate, especially given the fact that, like I said earlier, no one really had any idea what Damar's health was until today, on Thursday the 5th. So, yeah, like I said, be looking forward to that. If you can still throw your thoughts and prayers out to the family. Even if he is doing a lot better, there's still a long road ahead for him and his family. So all your prayers and thoughts are very much appreciated for the family. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure how I should end this, except for if you can, check out his GoFundMe. Keep sending your thoughts and prayers out to him, and just hope for a speedy recovery for Damar Hamlin and his family. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.